Hi, I'm Richard Chambers, President and CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors. Happy to join you today to talk about a topic that has been near and dear to my heart for the last several years. It's actually been a couple of years ago that I wrote a book called Trusted Advisors. And in that book, I talked about what are the key attributes of outstanding internal auditors. Well, we're in the midst of this global pandemic, the coronavirus crisis. There's never been a time where internal auditors needed to have the acumen that we outlined in the Trusted Advisors model. And I thought it might be helpful if I took a minute and just sort of walked you through what I believe are the critical characteristics of outstanding internal auditors. The first is ethical resilience. There has never been a time where it's more important to be ethical. There's a lot of there are a lot of misinformation that's being transmitted, a lot of fraud that's being committed by those who are trying to take advantage of the crisis the world finds itself in. And internal auditors must be seen as beacons of ethical resilience in this incredibly difficult time that we find ourselves in. The second is results focused. This is a time where we must be generating results, not just numbers of reports, but actual results, audits that have an impact, results that have an impact in the organizations we serve. They need us now more than ever. The third is intellectual curiosity. This is a time where we need to bring that intellectual curiosity to the forefront. The root cause is what ultimately will help you as an internal auditor, being able to determine not just what happened or what is happening, but why is it happening? Because if we don't know those things, it's going to be very difficult for us to offer solutions that management needs. The fourth is open-mindedness. You know, we come into this crisis thinking we know how the world works. There's never been a time where more myths are being disseminated, or more myths are being dispensed of, because a lot of the way that we thought the world worked, including how risks were assessed, we're finding that maybe we didn't know as much as we thought. The fifth of the characteristics is dynamic communication. In an earlier video, I said that internal auditors need to communicate, communicate, communicate. There's never been a time where we have to be better at communication than the time we find ourselves in right now. And that doesn't just mean that we give good written reports. We have to have the kind of dynamic communication skills that inspire trust in those in the organizations we serve. The next of these characteristics is insightful relationships. It's only through building and sustaining insightful relationships that people will trust us enough to seek us out in times of crisis. There's also inspirational leadership. Inspirational leadership is what we demonstrate when we take the forefront in helping to identify risks that our organization face, and more importantly, in identifying solutions. The next characteristic is critical thinking. The ability to take all the pieces of the puzzle and put them together. That's what's going to differentiate us from all the others that are standing in line trying to help management and our boards. And then finally, there is technical expertise. Well, technical expertise we could spend all day talking about, but let me assure you that if you don't bring to bear your knowledge of the business, your knowledge of the strategies of the business that you're part of or the organizations that you're part of, and if you don't bring the solutions that are technically sound to management and your board, then you're not going to have demonstrated the kind of value that you're really capable of. I hope these are helpful hints for you as trusted advisors as you move about your organizations, working remotely in many cases, trying to help. I'm Richard Chambers, President and CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors.